Hey guys, welcome back to the KickBack FC. Thank you for all the continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all socials.
So welcome back to the KickBack FC, your go-to unfiltered real talk, all things soccer. We're breaking down the biggest sports moments, hottest takes, and everything you need to stay plugged into the world's game. We'll even top into other sports from time to time because, we'll talk about it if it's big in sports. Whether this is your first time with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, again, I just want to say thank you to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius. I'm joined by my boys and fellow co-hosts. Mike, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Can't complain. We have a special guest on today at Spark Studios, so I'm excited. How about you, Sloan?
Feel pretty good back at Spark Studios today with the guys, our special guest. So it's been a good morning. Gabriel, how you feeling?
I feel good, man. I feel really, really good. Cornelius, how you feeling?
Great, man. Gabriel, take it away.
Good. Today we're joined by someone who's worn every hat in Northeast Ohio soccer, from player to coach to owner. Since taking over the Cleveland Crunch, he's led the team back to championship glory and helped revive indoor soccer in the region. He's a champion of local talent, a Cleveland native, and someone deeply committed to building the future of the game. Luciano Ruscitto, welcome to the KickBack FC.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh man, thank you. Thanks for coming on, man. This is definitely something that as a group we've been wanting to do for quite some time. Obviously we've had a personal relationship since for a while now, but just as a group, as a pod, we're definitely excited to just talk to you today and just learn a little bit more about your story and your background. So just kind of kicking it off. How was young? Like, who was young Luch? Like, I know Luch now. Like, the reserved Luch. Behind the scenes. A lot of things, everything crunch. But who were you as a kid, and kind of how did you fall in love with the sport?
Yeah, so I was still kind of reserved, but typical Northeast Ohio kid. Just like there wasn't a lot of technology when I was a kid, so always outside playing soccer for the most part. My dad, he was born in Sao Paulo, and his family had migrated there from Italy. So I'm technically, on my dad's side, first generation in that sense. And obviously, he has a deep love for soccer. So watching it and playing it since I could start walking pretty much, and it's been a part of my life ever since. So just constantly, playing sports, not only soccer, but baseball and basketball growing up, and then obviously just got more serious with soccer as I got older. But yeah, I was no different than any other kid back then, but still very reserved and kind of introverted in a way. But my life experiences have kind of made me not so introverted and had to be just come out of my comfort zone and things like that. But yeah, from when I was a child, just going through life, right? Just trying to enjoy it. There's not so many worries when you're a kid. So
for sure. Kind of interesting. You talked about you played basketball, played baseball. Obviously, soccer was the main one. Why'd you? Because I play a lot of sports growing up. Cornelius did. We kind of all tapped into other sports. What made soccer the one that you stuck with kind of throughout your career?
It was the one that I was the best at. Just from like a skill standpoint, and then also the one I was like most comfortable playing. Obviously basketball, it hit a ceiling. I'm only so tall, right? So, athletic ability, it can't get you so far there. So baseball, I did love, but it wasn't. It became more of a chore as you got playing both sports as you got older and in high school and stuff. So, and then soccer, I had opportunity to play in college. I realized that in high school, and then that's kind of when. And I still played baseball, but I just took soccer a lot more seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what position are you?
I played a lot of winger in high school, and
Really?
then in college I played mostly outside back because just was not fast enough to be a winger.
Okay. and you went to Lake Erie as well,
Yeah.
right? Okay. How was walk me through your experience there? Because I have a friend actually that played on the women's side. This was maybe 2013, 2014ish. Kind of just walk me through your Lake Erie experience and how it was there.
Yeah, so I was only there for 2 years, and then I ended up transferring to Kent to finish my degree, and I played on the club team there.
Right.
But at Lake Erie, it was tough. Like, it was a lot of work. Like, you're a lot of guys on the team. You're competing every day to just be on the roster to dress. So you have to perform, every practice, and you can't really take any days off in that sense. But it really built. I learned more about soccer in those 2 years than I did in my entire life. Just from coaching standpoint, just like knowledge of the game, what it takes to be at the next level. Because you come in with a bunch of guys that were good in high school, so everyone's good. Everyone's there to compete. No one's there for nonsense, right? Because their friends play or their parents made them. So you don't get any of that at college, and I think that's really and that experience propelled me into everything that I've done. Like, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but getting the job at Bryan and Stratton and being able to do the crunch, having any sort of credibility at all, for some reason, having that college experience on the resume has made a difference. So really, just 2 years made so much, gave me so much like knowledge and experience that I can use throughout the rest of my life. It's kind of crazy. So that's really what those 2 years brought me, and a lot of connections. I still talk to a lot of people, made a lot of friends, people that help me with the crunch now. For example, Robbie, our videographer, he was on my team at Lake Erie.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So it's like it's a lot of connections.
Yeah, shout out Robbie, man.
Yeah, Robbie's a dog.
Yeah, he gets all of our videos. I was hitting up Robbie on the side, like, yo, like, let me get that clip, please. I need it for the IG. So, no, that's really, really dope. No, definitely talk to me about Bryan and Stratton. Obviously, you really helped kickstart that program in 2022. They didn't have a program before that, I don't believe. And you were the first or the inaugural head coach. Kind of just walk me through that experience and taking those 2 years from Lake Erie and using all of that knowledge now, taking it into a real life coaching job, especially at the collegiate level. What was that like?
Yeah, so it was tough. It was a lot tougher than starting the crunch, to be honest.
That's interesting.
In terms of like the team. Right, the crunch came a lot, like the business side of things, a different story. But like assembling the team was easier in a sense with the crunch. But Bryan and Stratton was tough because it's just a new program, so people didn't really know about it. Right. It was an expensive community college with not a lot of amenities to offer students, and it's competing with like Lakeland and Tri-C. So I was able to get a roster and able to have a season in 2022, and then in 2023, a lot of the team left, and I was not able to recruit enough guys to have another season, so I've eventually terminated. But that experience, helped me learn, everything that comes with maybe being a college coach and, what it truly is to recruit, and gave me more tools to be a better recruiter for bringing new players to the crunch and stuff like that. But it was really just a tough situation, a lot of challenges that I had to overcome, but ultimately made me a better person and gave me more experience to put on my resume that I was a college coach, and it feels good to have started that program and pass it along to whoever's taking it over now. But overall it was a good experience. It's just a very challenging one of the most challenging experiences I've ever gone through.
I think anytime you really kickstart something, and the first that first year is always tough to really jumpstart something. It's never easy. I can definitely resonate with that. Even just talking from ourselves, we took a year just to figure out our kinks and so imagine us figuring that out in real time. We're actually releasing episodes and still trying to figure out the kinks and things. So that's definitely interesting.
Actually, I have a question though. I want to build on something. So I'm learning that you kind of had a starter mentality, an entrepreneurial mindset early. Did you always have that, or was it something that was just kind of you saw a situation and an opportunity where it was needed and kind of acted on it?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I thinking back on my life, I definitely had that mindset maybe, but I didn't really realize it, and maybe I was just acting on it subconsciously. But now it's more intentional, where there is a challenge or a situation that I think I can help provide a solution for, and then if I can do it, I'll do it, or try to do it at least. But so it's really just I've become to realize it more. But it's always kind of been there. But I think the career path I chose, and I was a teacher, right? I still do teach part-time, on the side, but I was a full, that was my career. And I think just daily situations there in the classroom that came out, right? So, I think I've always kind of had that starter mentality, wanting to help people, really.
That's great advice and a great perspective for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And kind of, talking about just kind of shifting it back to the football aspect as well. You've grown through a lot of just Northeast Ohio soccer, through playing, through coaching, through being even a college coach, even teaching and doing youth camps and things of that sort. Kind of before we get into the crunch, walk me through kind of how have you seen the transition in the culture of Northeast Ohio change since you've been a player to now, owning the crunch?
Yeah, it's a lot more people play soccer.
Yeah.
It's more popular. It was back when growing up, I'm sure you probably dealt with the same situations. It wasn't the popular sport to play. What a lot of kids didn't really want to play it. But now it's definitely more of an interest, and from the men's and the women's side of things. And that's great. I think it's built a lot more young fans that has helped the crunch. It has helped just you see a lot more kids playing soccer in rec leagues now. I feel like when I was younger, the numbers would be dwindling. So it's an upward trend, and I think that it's just going to continue to grow, especially with the World Cup coming next year. Yeah. That's really going to. I'm excited to see what happens after that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No, you're second.
So you brought the crunch in 2019, 2020. You grew up watching the team as well too. What kind of sparked the idea to bring the club back?
Yeah, so I was actually helping one of my friends from Lake Erie move, a former business partner. He had a bunch of crunch and force stuff, and that was just what happened. Kind of I almost completely forgot about it, not in a sense, but it was gone for almost 20 years at that point. So just doing research, I realized if you look on the U.S. Patent Trademark website, you could see what brands and trademarks are owned and dead and what's available, and it was defunct. Nobody had owned it. So I called up the lawyer that was listed on there from 1989, and they were still open, and they kind of explained to me how you acquire a trademark. I had no idea. So the first thing we did was print T-shirts with the logo, start selling it, and then I realized that there was leagues that still exist with team names from back in the day, like St. Louis Ambush and Baltimore Blast, things like that. And I started contacting those owners and saying, how did you do this, right? What do you need to do? One thing led to another. I mean, it wasn't that long. We probably rushed it in a sense because we got it off the ground in a year, but it felt like a long time in those conversations, and that's kind of what made me realize it's possible. But it started off by just acquiring the IP rights to the defunct name Cleveland Crunch, and the Cleveland Force, that was a big part of the indoor soccer culture too, and that was something that we also considered, but that's taken up by what you know as Force Sports nowadays. So, and I think knowing that the crunch used to be resonate with people, a huge fan base, it made the decision easier to start it, because we weren't trying to start just a brand new team where we had to really market it to people. Right. We started with a little bit of a fan base. So.
No, that's awesome, and we were talking a little bit about it before we started, but we've come, obviously, just knowing Gabriel, supporting Gabriel, and supporting you guys. That's how I kind of got introduced to you guys. So Mike and I actually had the opportunity to come last year in the playoffs, and the experience was great. And on the way home, him and I were talking about just how, wow, I never knew that this was a thing. We love soccer too. So to have a club like you do with the history that you have is really remarkable. And, I think that it speaks a lot to the club, the reputation, obviously, for it to be gone for so long. It comes back and people kind of still resonate with it. So my question to you is, to the new fans of the Cleveland Crunch, who were the Crunch in the 90s? Because you saw it. So what, to the younger generation, what was the Cleveland Crunch like in the 90s?
So yeah, they were always good. They won 3 championships, so people liked to watch them. And the sport hasn't changed, much in the sense of how it's played. It's very exciting, so you have that aspect of it. It's more entertaining than watching, an outdoor game. So, and I think the Crunch being good and just being so involved with the community back then helped create a big fan base, and that's kind of what the model that I was trying to replicate. If you got to be out in the community and creating those connections and inviting those people to the games. And a lot of Crunch fans may not know that we had arguably, or if not the best indoor soccer player of all time play for the Crunch, and Hector Marinero. So, I think younger Crunch fans need to know that, and we're trying to do our best of representing that past legacy with also putting a modern twist on it, but still doing the things that they did to help them grow back in the day, which mainly was be with the community, have youth camps where they're coached by Crunch players, and then those youth campers got to go to the games and see the Crunch player that coached them on the field. That was me as a child, and that's what we have now, right? So that's what we've recreated, and I think it's attributed to our success. So we're trying to respect the legacy the Crunch created as much, they did in the past, and build on that as much as we can while creating our own thing. It's all-encompassing, I guess.
No, that's great, man. Absolutely. Another thing that, I believe you guys do really well is incorporating the community. The amount of kids I saw the last go-around in the playoffs was awesome. The tunnel, the intro tunnel, I love it, man. Growing up, I grew up in Columbus, so my dad and I have so many vivid memories of going to crew games. And those are, impressionable years of, your life. And soccer's a great sport, and like you said, the sport's growing as well, too. So, we're kind of creating a new generation of fans in what's already a growing sport. So my last question would be, what challenges did you face bringing back a dormant team, right? A team that had so much success, and now you're bringing it back. I mean, you guys have found success, but I'm sure that there were, hiccups along the way. Could you share some of those struggles and obstacles?
There are definitely a lot of challenges. We pretty much starting from nothing, right? So finding a team to work with and people that would believe in the mission and believe in it, right? There's a lot of early on a lot of doubt, right? Just from the community, not even the community, but just the response to what the message we were trying to portray, that we were trying to do this and come back. It's just felt like a lot of backs against the wall, but fortunately I was able to build a team of people that I trusted to help me do the things that I might not be the best at, right? And but aside from that, more of the challenging aspect, just finding a team to work with, the people that I trusted, finding the funding to do it, and building a fan base that's going to help it become sustainable. Building something meaningful and sustainable was the goal, and it still is the goal. And there's always challenges. There's every day that feel like there's something new that comes up, but it's just easier to manage now. Back then, it was a lot harder to manage. I was doing a lot more than I am now. My role is more defined as the leader of the business, but we faced every challenge that you could possibly think of from starting a business. It truly, to me, it was not anything. It was not sports, right? It was just strict. It was a job that I wasn't getting paid for at the time. So it was just, it's just perseverance too that I had a lot of it. I believed in it, and the people that are on our team believe in it, and it's not like they've seen much of a reward yet either. So I think that was the most challenging part, is just growing it to something that could be sustainable.
All right. So you've won championships with the Crunch in 2021 and then 2024.
Yeah.
When did it start feeling like the city was back behind the Crunch?
I would say the past couple of years.
Okay.
Really, the first year we came back, it was COVID. So we still couldn't have a lot of fans, but we would do as best we can with what we were working with. Mm-hmm. But that championship that year gave us a lot of more reason to more marketing material, more opportunities to be on the news and in the press, which helped. And once those COVID restrictions got lifted, we started filling our small venue with 600 to 700 people consistently every single game, which has afforded us the opportunity to play a couple games at the IX Center a couple years ago, which really helped grow the fan base. We saw like a big bump in like just following in general there. And then most recently at the Wolstein Center with the playoffs, I think just the past two and a half seasons or whatever, it's really grown a lot faster than it did the first 2 seasons, and from a fan base perspective. And I think that's it's starting to feel like there's still a lot of people that don't know that we exist. They know about the Crunch of the past, but there are a lot of people, like being in an airport wearing a Crunch shirt, and people say, "Oh man, I love the Crunch." Yeah, I wouldn't get that when I first started, but now I get that. So it's like,
awesome.
You know, you could. That makes me realize that it is growing and it is working. So.
All right. So one thing we also like to talk about a lot is, you know, how the youth, even Salam just said, we're building, you know, a young group of new fans, new generation of fans and players in the game. So how does the role of youth development play in your, you know, your overall vision for the club, for now, for the future, not only for the club but for the city as well?
Yeah, it's very important. That's an area that we are looking to grow in more, just bringing the game of soccer to more youth communities in Northeast Ohio and beyond that. And from a Crunch perspective, I think building a pipeline of players that not only are quality soccer players or interested in soccer, but indoor soccer, right? Like I'm sure Piwu could tell you here that like it's tough. It's a completely different game.
Oh yeah,
like you gotta learn it. So I think being able to teach that, like when I was younger, indoor soccer was pretty popular too. There's a lot of facilities that had the walls, and then there was a period of time where they started taking all that away, and it was big futsal and everything. And now you play indoor soccer, but it's just outdoor soccer, smaller inside. So having the walls, like it helps you develop, I think, as a player in a different way too. So I think just bringing awareness around what indoor soccer is and that how it can coexist with outdoor soccer, and how it helps youth development, in my opinion, and just like learning different things. But like I said, I think it's very important for us to continue success in the future and ensure that we always are going to be competitive. We have to start building with the youth and getting kids involved with the sport really early on.
All right. So as we go through the interview, I think I've been very impressed with your background. You know, you said you were a teacher at some point, a college coach, and now you're the owner of the Cleveland Crunch. So is the team your main focus, or do you have any other ventures you're juggling alongside being the owner?
So the team is my main focus right now. We recently launched a foundation, the Cleveland Crunch Foundation.
Okay.
So thank you. Yeah. So like we work with like different communities, Portage Metropolitan Housing Association, for example, in Portage County. We do like free soccer clinics for the residents. So before we were just kind of doing that, and really weren't benefiting from it, but now being able to take donations and going and buying equipment like soccer balls and cleats for those kids and stuff. So that's most recently started. So that's kind of what some of my focus, you know, is there now too. But aside from that, I actually just recently started coaching at NDCL High School soccer.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I just like literally 2 months ago just got hired there. So maybe not even. So that's going to be starting up here in a couple weeks. So that'll probably take some of my time too.
Okay. Yeah. So during the season, what does your day-to-day look like? Are you hands-on? Are you involved in the operations of everything that's going on during the season?
Yeah, so pretty much overseeing a lot now.
Okay.
Having like a list of things that need to be done and who's working on them, and obviously I have my own responsibilities. It's more of like business development and things, getting things going for the future. Like what's our next move here? What's our next step? And what needs to be done to get there? And who can help me get there? And that's kind of where I'm at now, and just trying to be a better leader. Like being a teacher has obviously helped me in that sense with managing like classroom staff, you know, it's like managing a staff in some sense. But I've always been more of like an introverted person, so having to be the guy that is giving the direction and has the answers has been tough, but that's something I've been growing into and accepting of more so recently. So
I want you to talk a little bit more about that. What is difficult about being in that role? Is it the decision making, or is it more of the success of the club? Are you worried more about, hey, am I making the right decision? Or more worried about how far can I take this club?
Yeah, so I think it's more of like the latter, because
Okay.
but the how far can making sure that I'm keeping it on track so it stays around even long after I'm involved, right? Like I want it to be a thing. Like I want the Cleveland Crunch to be a soccer club that's just people know it's just here, right? And that starts with making the right decisions in the present, right? But I used to be scared to make the wrong decision, and now it's if I do fail at something, or if I did make a wrong decision or something doesn't go exactly as planned, I am able to learn from it and apply it differently next time. So I think to answer your question, it's like it's been tough, like, to be that guy, really, like, but now it's a little bit easier because it's the business itself. You're getting the same thing every year in terms of how managing the team, so that doesn't change much. But there's just other obstacles that you always have to jump through, and not only making the right decision for myself, but like if advising someone else to make a decision too, and making sure that I'm guiding them correctly. I've got less caught up in worrying about that and more so just doing with what I think, and it's been working out better.
All right. Because I can't imagine, the day-to-day decisions, it's all on your head. And then also the vision of the club is also, in your hands. So I can understand how that can be tough.
Yeah.
So you got nominated recently for Entrepreneur of Impact 2025.
Yeah.
How did that nomination make you feel?
It felt good, yeah, and it felt good to have like a community like of people, a lot of Crunch fans, just like voting for me and making sure that I kept going through to the next round. I didn't really know like much about the competition before I applied for it, but I think it felt good to be recognized in a sense and see people rally around it. It's good, more than I expected.
Feels like, coming from teaching and then coaching and then now owner, you could, if I know, okay, I'm making the right decisions in life.
Yeah.
I can see that. My last question for you before Cornelius goes, what is your approach to building the right team? And from coaches to players and staff, like, what do you look for in the people you hire?
Yeah, so I think from a staff perspective, it's people that obviously I could trust and that believe in what the mission of what we're doing, and just because there's not a lot of, it's not like I can pay people incredible amounts of money to help me. So, early on, people that would try to get involved, it was, I think, just, there's a lot of negativity, a lot of people with bad intentions that were trying to get involved early on. And now I think we've, like I said, I've been able to build a team of people that I trust, that I believe in, and they also believe in me and what everyone's doing. So from a player's perspective, a lot of the guys from the early on that's still on the team, I played with growing up or against growing up. So that was just constant phone calls, and same thing, getting them to be on board. It didn't even exist yet, so like at the time. So it's like just getting people to want to be involved with it. And now, since we have new players joining the team every year, I think it's just how could we get them ingrained into the culture that we've already created, and how they can help us continue to be successful, really.
Okay, so do you have any family members on your staff? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much all family. So,
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the other owner is my father, so both of us are in the ownership group. And then my sister, she's very involved. My fiance, Emily, she's also very involved. We have another guy, Ryan. He works a lot with the sales, and he was a fan that he wanted to be, involved with the organization, and we gave him an opportunity, and he's been very helpful. So, and obviously my parents, like I mentioned, my father and my mother have been very supportive since day one, and just believe in it. So It's mostly family from a front office standpoint, and a lot of the game day staff that you see working around are my friends. So a lot of them are volunteering their time. So it's just I'm very fortunate to have family and friends that want to be involved and want to help. So it's been a tribute to our success.
All right. Nice.
It's funny because this whole time, I'm sitting down and Gabriel and I, we have an interesting perspective because we're 90s kids. We're born in the 90s, but we didn't really grow up with the crunch. But you were talking about growing up and having walls to play with. I remember the old Metroplex. Like we used to play, at the now word church with the walls, and
Yeah.
you used to hear about Otto Orff and all the guys back in the crunch days, and like Cleveland, when it came back, there was a buzz about it. Just being a Cleveland kid and knowing that my younger brother was going to play for the team, it was huge. And this whole time you've been talking about community and involving the kids, and I think it's huge. Gabriel and McCain and a few of the players have come to Cleveland Heights to some of our youth camps with our kids, and they've just shown support. And we've also gone to the games, and we've had the kids go with the tunnel.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I understand the whole community aspect, and I think that's huge. Mike asked, when did you really start to see that support from the city? You said, in the last couple of years. And so my question is kind of, what was like the most creative marketing idea, or what was, that spark you saw 2 years ago that actually got the fans back into the crunch?
Yeah, I think just change. We've added a lot to our game day experience. So I think when people go to the game, they just have fun, and winning helps. But but in a sense,
You need
it's
the
like
W's.
yeah, winning helps. But it's like from like a young child's perspective, they might not remember the score when they go home, but they're gonna remember if they had fun. So like that's really the goal, and we've done a lot. Like even from just after we score a goal, throwing foam balls off the little balcony that we have at the Sportsplex, or doing a lot of giveaways at the door. When we first started out, we didn't do any of that. We were just like, how do we operate a game? Yeah. So now it's people are going to the games and their word of mouth spreading to other people. We had a good time. You should bring your family. So I think really just changing up how we operate and make the fan experience and focusing on that has attributed to that growth.
No, for sure. Even as a player, like after we score, you give us a ball and we're able to like throw it to the crowd. It's definitely one of my favorite moments for sure, because you always have like 20 kids right there, like, yo, like, give me the ball. Like, oh, you have one, like, just toss it over. So I could definitely resonate with that one. 100%.
And now too, you're seeing from like those kids that do come to the games, they've been coming for a few years now, so 100%. They really are fans. So that's good to see that we've kind of started the next generation of Crunch fans.
Yeah, no, a McCain backflip doesn't help either. What I mean?
Yeah, we were at a youth camp with McCain, a couple weeks ago, and the campers, do a backflip. We're in an open soccer field. There's nowhere to do a backflip.
No, that's so funny. I mean, I've been to multiple games, and just to see the amount of kids that come and just want autographs, sign a shirt, sign the program, it's sign my ball that you threw. Like I caught a ball, like it's really cool to see. I mean, you've been getting it out the mud for a little bit, but you've been able to create something in Cleveland. And so from your perspective, what do you think indoor soccer needs to get to that next level? Like, what do you think it needs to grow?
Yeah, I think it's just more awareness around the sport and more, I think just in general awareness and like a continuance of involvement of like younger kids playing it, which would help with the overall awareness of it. I think it's always going to take a backseat to outdoor soccer because it's not truly like how soccer is, back when soccer was created or whatever. Like that's not how it was originally supposed to be played. But like I said, it does provide such a entertaining piece to it. You're never going to get a 0-0 game. I mean, it's very, very, very rare if that happens.
No, facts.
So yeah, and the ball rarely goes out of bounds. It's always high flying and constant. And I think once more people are able to go and playing in a bigger venue will help with that. But like just providing access to the game from more individuals and in the Cleveland area and beyond. I think there's other cities that have great clubs that that need to know that too. Like that, just like how could we continue to build awareness and bring the game to more people?
That's huge to hear. We've kind of been dancing around the golden question. You kind of just brought it up about the bigger venue. We've seen you guys play in multiple different venues, like you talked about before, the IX Center, which was honestly a great experience. That space was massive, and I didn't know how you guys were going to convert it into a football field, but just to see the way that you guys used the space, it was great. We're currently at the Sportsplex now, but Salam and Mike, they were super impressed with the Wolstein, and there have been some rumblings. So, what is the next step? Are you guys looking to get a bigger venue? Are you guys looking to lock something in?
Yeah, so I think we are looking to play our next season at the Wolstein Center.
Okay.
So
let's get it. Let's go, man.
So obviously the season schedule is not out yet. So like once that comes out and that gets more finalized, more information about tickets and whatnot. But yeah, like it's good to be able to make the jump and have the response from the playoffs that really propelled this to happen. To be afforded the opportunity to play in a bigger venue. So we're looking forward to being able to play 6 games there next season.
Nice, man. No, congrats. That's huge. And I mean, the team's been, back for 5 years, but I'm sure you've been working behind the scenes for way longer than that. And this 5 years has probably been just, lesson after lesson after lesson. But to get this venue to be locked in with the Wolstein downtown, in the heart of Cleveland, especially with, everything that's happening just in soccer right now with the women's team coming in a couple of years. What does that mean to you, like just having like a home venue you can call like home for the next couple of years?
Yeah, it feels great. It's what we've been wanting from the beginning. Being downtown, it's going to help with everything we've talked about from the growth standpoint and building a bigger fan base, and also just getting bigger sponsors and getting more recognition from the local media. I think it would help with too. People just take you more seriously, and just having that place, being able to call home, it feels good because that was the Crunch's home of the past. And that, like I said, that was the goal from the beginning. But I'm sort of glad that it happened the way it did. Like if we would have been able to go in there year one, I don't think we'd be playing right now, right? So like, it just knowing what we know and how to go about things has helped make those experiences at the IX Center and Wolstein more successful and put us where we are today.
I get it. You kind of have to learn with every step of the way, and sometimes when you get handed something too early, you may not take advantage of the way that you would, when you have the knowledge behind, what you're doing. But before we get into some rapid fire questions, we talked about you guys winning the championship in 2021. We have the massive 2024 trophy here. The finals was in Cleveland last season, and we unfortunately fell short. Heading into the next season, Gabe and I really haven't even really talked about the final, to be honest. He's one of those players.
I still don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, like he's one of those players where, he when he wants to talk about it, he'll let you know, but it's been some time. But, from an owner's perspective, how are you guys regrouping going into the next year, and what are you looking forward in this next season?
Yeah, so just using everything that was successful about that weekend and building on it, and knowing that we can get a good fan base in there, a good group of people, and how could we make that happen multiple times over, and just adjusting our marketing strategies and everything. Like, we've definitely regrouped. It sucked. It hurt. But at the end of the day, there's only one winner, one loser. The only sense of losing from that whole weekend was the on-field result. Sure. It could have gone way worse from an organizational standpoint. So we were grateful for that. And like I said, it put us in a position to be able to get more games there, like, next season and beyond. So we've definitely regrouped and have shifted our focus to how can we replicate that multiple times over and make sure that we're consistently doing it and keeping up, not putting us in a bad situation, going forward, not taking our foot off the gas, essentially, really.
No, I mean, from the whole conversation, it's just the power of positive thinking, for real. It seems like you always just kind of have that go-getter mindset, and if there's a will, there's a way with you. And I feel like that, like you said, the only negative was that tough loss. It could have gone way worse, and And I think that's massive, just moving forward to this next season. I can't wait to see what y'all do.
Thank you. Yeah, no, appreciate that.
Yeah. Also, before we get into rapid fire too, definitely want you to touch on. I know you just had the owners meeting in Vegas for the MLIS. And there have been some additions of some new teams. Just kind of walk me through as an owner, because I only see it from the players' perspective. We come in during the season, we have trainings, we have the on match, game days, and then just trainings and game days. But from the owner's perspective, how was it, having that meeting, meeting all the other owners, and kind of looking forward to next year. We have some new teams also joining the mix. Kind of, just how was that experience? And were you able to meet the new owners as well at the meeting too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. It was a very good meeting. A lot of quality ownership groups in this league, and we all have a mindset that, like, on the field, obviously competitors, but off the field, we are all business partners. So we have an understanding that, like, we all want each other to be successful, and know that certain teams are at different levels, right? We have some teams playing in arenas, some teams playing in very small venues. So I think everyone has a good understanding that we're all still growing no matter what stage that we're at. And a lot of young ownership groups that I'm seeing now too, which is going to help with just growing the game in general, because indoor soccer, like I said, being so popular, a lot of the people that were involved with it still are still involved in some sense, which has stifled the game, and because it's just, in any industry, it's hard to get people to change. So now that you have a lot of younger groups coming in and interested in starting these teams, or maybe just growing a soccer club in general in their community, it's good. I think it's going to attribute to, like, long-term growth and more teams coming in.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I want to ask, you talked about, giving the game more access. Are there any plans? I think you guys have done a very good job at streaming the games. I mean, I'm able to sit in my living room and I'm watching the game. So, like, that for me, the first time I was able to do that, I was so impressed. But, I mean, obviously, to get access, to get more people, to get more eyes on the game, you would probably have to move to a little bigger platform.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any plans of maybe seeing if another major network could pick it up?
Yeah,
streaming or anything?
That's definitely a goal.
Okay.
Then, like, the league has, I think, been smart about it too. They've had, like, opportunities, I'd say, like, maybe in a couple of years in the past, where they've denied them because it felt like not every team was ready to be there. So it's like, you don't want to turn off the opportunity where it's like it doesn't come again. But now I think from a personal perspective, definitely playing at a bigger venue is going to, maybe a local network will air the game and help bring that to more, and, like, advertise it. And I think just continuing to improve the quality of our stream, it might help award an opportunity like an ESPN or something like that. But I think that's, like, the goal they're working towards, but it's just not, every team has to be there before, like, a league-wide thing would happen. But, like, from a personal standpoint, I think that we are on the cusp of being afforded those opportunities, but it's going to start with getting, like, a local sports network to kind of air it first, which we really haven't had much love from the local media. It comes here and there, but I think this next season we're going to see a lot more of that, hopefully, and that side of things will continue to move forward and grow more.
Okay.
I think I definitely think playing in the Wolf scene is going to help that.
Yeah.
Like, just speaking from, I'm not going to speak about the final because, but just honestly, just speaking from my experience, just being in the Wolf scene, it was nostalgic. Like, and I don't even remember. I think I maybe went to, like, one or two Crunch games when I was a kid, but just, like, I felt it, like, I felt the remnants of the old Crunch. I remember looking at pictures. I remember seeing videos and, like, playing there. The experience, like, the game day experience that you guys had was amazing for the fans and even for us, as players. It was really, really fun. I don't think I had coworkers come. Like I said, Mike and Salam came down. I had my parents come. Even other family members from out of town came as well. And everyone had the overall consensus and theme was like, "Yo, we did not expect this to be exactly like what it was. Like, this kind of you blew our expectations out the water. Like it just
the players just
right.
fits.
It was rocking, and it was a really, really dope experience. And I just from a player's aspect, thank you, because I know, I've been playing for 4 or 5 years now, and that's always been the goal: get back in the Wolves team, get back where we weren't once were. Not players. I feel like as a team, we've always had that quality, but that bigger venue, that bigger space, more eyes. That's always really been the goal for us. And I remember when you came with the news to the team, like one training session after, and kind of all sat us all down, like, yeah, we got it for the playoffs. It was like, oh shit, like, okay, like, bet, and that's why it hurt so much, just to tap into it for a little bit. That's why it hurt so much, to not get the result, because it was like something that we've been fighting for, a lot of us, a lot of guys, for 5 years now, so yeah, just from that aspect, man, I think, having the Wolves team is gonna bring so many more eyes, and I see this next season having a lot of growth, just from the pure fact that we're at the Wolves scene is more accessible. Like the Sportsplex it's a great venue. Please don't get me wrong. It's an amazing venue, and even over the years, the way that we've shifted the Sportsplex, just like kind of speaking behind the scenes, like before, like the fans could see us, like when we're like changing, and like we didn't like have like exactly like where to space and like locker rooms and things like that. But even over the years, like we've been able to really manipulate the space and have locker rooms, have our own kind of little private space where players are able to have their moments and just kind of decompress, where fans really don't have access to it. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited for this next year, especially being in the Wolves team.
Yeah, I think being in the Wolves team for you guys is going to be huge, especially if you guys. I mean, the crowd last year was a good crowd, and as I was telling Mike, I was just like, how like, I knew he played for the Crunch, but I had never been to. Like I said, I live in Cincinnati. When you guys came down to Cincinnati, I would go to those games and I would get the experience that way. But when we got there, I remember on Friday, I was like, how have we not heard about it? Like, what is this? And we love soccer, all of us. I love soccer, and I think, you said a lot of things. Just like indoor soccer is a vital part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Especially here in the United States, it's an opportunity where kids really, like you said, like the ball doesn't go out of bounds, and it's less people. It's not 11v11.
Yeah.
So you touch the ball more, right? You're on the ball more. So like you really develop your, I guess, identity as a player in indoor. And I mean, it's a fun sport. I remember in the semifinal, you guys came out. It was like the first, 10 seconds of the game. Like the first group started, they pressed hard for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then the second group just came in, and it was just like I was like, one guy hopped over the thing, and I was like, oh wow, like this is like
it's like hockey.
It's like hockey kind of, right? And it's fast paced. There's a lot of transitions, but there's those moments to control the game. I don't know. The concept of indoor soccer is, like I said, such a big part of the game, and I think being in the Wolves team for you guys next year is going to be huge for you guys. And to Mike's point about, kind of, I guess to your point about every team needing to be there in terms of, for the media opportunities and all that, I think you guys are doing a lot. I believe you guys are doing a lot of things right, from the branding to the Crunch. It's a hard name. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it's not even just that. It's like the product, the core of like what's going on.
These jerseys, man. I'm not gonna lie. Every year they get better and better and better. It's. I'm glad Gabriel can pass me down a few. I'm just like, I need that.
Well, I have one of the early ones from the one of our early kits. We didn't even have a front sponsor. Like
nothing.
And then now you see the kid in the front. We have the lines going down. We have stars. Our kids this year had They had the tracks, was it like the interstates and things all incorporated? Map of Cleveland incorporated within the jersey. Like, yeah, man, even our jersey swag everything's just elevated since.
We got something good in the works for next year.
Hey, I'm excited to see.
But and the team is good. Like the bottom, the whole reason why we come out, right? Like the team is good, and you said like the experience too for the kids. Like I saw like a lot of kids there having fun, smiles on their faces, and that's what it's all about, right? Tapping into that next generation and kind of, re-educating the city and this new generation of like, yo, this used to be a thing. And, we were, how we're good now, we were good then too. Right? So let's get into some rapid fire questions, man. Let's get to know Luciano a little bit. Are you a music guy? What's on your playlist?
I definitely like listening to music, and it goes with my mood at the time, Right now on my playlist, probably a lot of like 90s alternative music. So more like summertime, But like I do listen to a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap music too. The only music I don't really vibe with is country music. But I can vibe with it though if it's a certain situation. So it's just like
it's a certain vibe.
Yeah, in my own like personal time, like I'm not playing a country song, But I mean, like I said, I can vibe with it in certain situations. But like music, even if it's like sometimes I might like if I'm trying to really relax, like I'll listen to classical music. Like I really do. It just depends on the mood I'm in.
Okay. Sounds good. I know you're extremely busy, man. What does, I guess, a day in the life look like for Luch?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I still do work part-time as a teacher, so some days, I'm doing that during the school year. But outside of that, like from like a managing a crunch perspective, I'm kind of just like seeing where we're at for like the week, like what's the goals for the week, the month, and like today, and who's doing what, so like I'm aware of like what's going on and how what's my personal tasks for the day. I try to like plan my day the day before. Before I go to bed, I like what am I gonna do when I wake up? What am I gonna do after that? Like just having a sense, so there's some direction, so I don't have to find it when I'm in the morning. I used to not do that, so that's something I've been applying recently, and it's been working really well just in terms of efficiency. But there's some days that I don't know what to do. Like there's so many things that need to be done, but I don't know what to do. So it's just like, I have those moments. So it's just, every day is different. I don't have like I go with the flow a lot, but I do try to prepare myself for what I'm going to encounter the next day, at least the day before. So I'm somewhat prepared when I wake up and I have a mission, that I need to complete, I guess.
I actually do want to build off that though, because one thing that I've learned just through like my professional life and just working in different things is like prioritizing. Like you really have to learn. I like to use example like you have like rubber balls and you have glass balls. You have certain things that it's a glass ball. If that thing drops, it's shattering, it's breaking. There's no picking the pieces back up and putting it back together. But then you have the rubber balls that, if you drop it, like it's good, you can pick it back up pretty quickly and it'll bounce back, So kind of, just transitioning from, all of those things coaching and teaching, like just your prioritization. How were you able to really find, kind of figure out what the glass balls were and what the rubber balls were?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just doing many different things that like, there's a point in time of teaching and the crunch business were completely unrelated and completely different set of tasks. But one was my career at the time and one was me building my own business. So figuring out like what's more pertinent at the time versus like what I wanted to do more, I guess, getting through that, kind of taking out like what's going to be the most challenging and maybe facing those things and getting like if I know it's time sensitive and just facing the problem and getting it over with. But I think it's been with coaching, teaching, and building the crunch, it's been having 3 different lifestyles in a sense. It's been really hard to manage at first, but now, like I said, it's just getting past of what's really, like, obviously you have motivation, you have to act on those motivations because they don't last, all day long, but I think it's just like where channeling the focus to maybe what needs to actually be done in real time, and also what maybe like doing something in real time to help the future me, right? Versus just I don't know. It's just been tough. It's still something I'm learning, but really just realizing what's important and what needs to be done in a timely manner, and just making myself do it.
Absolutely. One other question I definitely I definitely do have is, do you have any? Because as a player, we have our own warm ups. We have a warm up. We have the cross. We do. Some guys, McCain may do a backflip or something, whatever the case may be before the match. As an owner, do you have any like pregame rituals?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just wonder because I'm
Yeah.
like, I always see running around and doing different things.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to do a lot of things on game day, but I was just wondering, like, is there like something before the match or like when you have like a moment to decompress, or just like, all right, let me just do this one thing. Whether it's like, I know some people like give a hug to their mom or something like that before a match. So I was just always wondering, like, I wonder if Luch has a pregame ritual, because I know everyone on the team does. Like, whether it's like how big or how small. So
Yeah, I honestly maybe something I might be doing every time that I'm just not noticing. But like I don't. To me, the game day is just it's no matter how much I try to make it not hectic and chaotic, it's hectic and chaotic. Like I feel like I'm just always trying to get something racing against the clock. Like the doors open in 10 minutes and we got to set this and this up. So it's just like, I don't know. That's usually my game day. When it's like the second half and I'm like sitting there and everything's done and I get to watch it, I guess that's really when I get to start enjoying it.
I wanted to build off of that. So, like, what's your mindset like when everything kind of settles and you're able to focus on the game? Like, what's your mindset as like the owner watching the game? Are you like nervous, anxious? Obviously, the team's good, but like, what's your? I guess because you're still like a fan of the game as well too.
Those are the moments where I've been able to find like, wow, like I did this kind of in a sense. So that's provided me with that. Like first couple seasons, I think the entire first season, I barely watched the games. I was doing so much during the games, I didn't even get to really watch them. But now that we have a bigger team and everyone kind of has a defined role, and we all know like things get easier, more organized. Like I'm actually able to watch and enjoy the games, and those are the moments where I could see the fans smiling, I could see the players enjoying themselves, and I was like, feel more accomplished in those moments.
That's awesome, man. My last question is just going into this 2025-2026 season, what can we expect from the Crunch?
I think you can expect what you've been seeing, a good quality side that's ready to compete. I think we have goals and expectations the players do for themselves, and we do as an organization, that we want to be the one of the best. So we want to set the standard. So I think you're going to continue to see what you've been seeing, just more amplified. Bigger venue, more space to do things, a lot more fans. So just building on what's been working and taking it to the next level, just everything in general.
Actually, so the question that I had earlier just came to me. So yeah, I apologize. So like, you're involved in the game in like different levels. You said you just got an opportunity coaching out of high school as well too, and then you have this professional team as well. For the next generation, for aspiring players that want to play for the Crunch, what are some things that you look for, like in a player when you bring someone into the organization?
Yeah, it's just like I think now we're at the point where we can just find players to fill the needs, fill in the gaps. Obviously, you want to bring in as many quality players as you can every year, but we really do kind of have more of a set roster now. So it's, in the beginning, it was building out the roster completely, but now it's filling the gaps. And there's a lot of talented players that come through tryouts, that come through trainings, but they might have the best attitude. So it's kind of just, you have to understand as a player where you're at in that situation, competing with a lot of guys that are very good players that have made names for themselves in the Cleveland area and beyond. So there's guys that are accepting of that and they wait their turn, and those are the guys that end up finding themselves in the rotation a few years down the line because they've come to practice, they've learned the game, they've integrated themselves. So I think we look for those qualities, but they end up just kind of playing themselves out. We've had like I said, a lot of guys that have come from tryouts to a couple training sessions, never come back. So it's like, and then there's guys that have barely maybe played in 1 or 2 games in 5 years that have been coming to everything consistently. Right, so just waiting for their opportunity. So I think it just the qualities and the characteristics will come out, and it's just like we look for them, yes, but we've built the culture and an expectation, and people have to fit into it in order to be a part of the team.
No, that's real amazing. I mean, you obviously got a great team, man. And the one thing that I love too is most of these guys, from what I understand, are from around this area as well too. So there's a lot of talent and in this region. I mean, even I coached 4 years at at a club in Cincinnati, and like there's always been talent up here. You know, we always knew kind of coming up north, it was like it's going to be one of those weekends, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like we know what we're going to get here.
ready.
So even from the grassroots level to the professional level, obviously the talent speaks for itself in this region. So I think that's great.
And the one thing is like, I mean, even you speaking to like guys winning their moment, like bro, it took me time before I was able to finally get a chance.
Yeah, you were one of them.
Yeah,
Man.
like,
You worked hard.
I was one of the people that, bro, indoor didn't click really for me until last year. Like, I've been playing it for 5 years now, and I feel like last season was the first season, like, I don't know what, like, finally just went like this. And honestly, shout out Tone, because Tone helped me a lot too, just to, like, no, just, like, do this, trust me, it will work. And then me finally trusting that and just doing it and being like, oh, like, why do you think won me connected so many times this year? Just, like, little things where it's like, I never knew to do that before. And then now, like, having the knowledge and then finally putting all of the years of experience and all of it together and other guys doing their jobs too, I just feel like now we have, like, a cohesiveness. But it takes time. Like, indoor is completely different. You got to think about it. None of us have played with, I mean, not none of us, but most of us haven't played with walls since we were 6, 7, 8 years old, bro. So, like, we come back after playing 20 years of outdoor, potentially, and then now you're playing with walls. Everything's way faster pace. You really don't have time to rest. Everyone's attacking and defending. Like, if you don't get one back, like, you know, that's what I'm saying. You're mixing so many different sports within indoor. Like, there's a basketball element. Like, we have plays. Like, on set pieces, like, we have set plays. On the corner kicks, we have set plays. We have timeouts. That's a whole different thing, you know, where you can, again, set a play. Subbing, like, it's on the fly. Like, if a guy needs to sub, there are times to sub too, you know, like just kind of getting the subs right. Like hockey, you can just hop over, and when the ball goes kind of dormant in an area, that's when the time to switch is. Like, that stuff is important, because if you don't, bro, if you switch at the wrong time, oh my goodness, it's 4v5. And imagine a basketball court 4v5. Like, the team with 5 is winning. It's a goal every time. And those are the moments where it's like, if you switch off, if you make a wrong sub, if you aren't locked in, like, you will get punished. Like, the good teams will punish you, and that's something that you definitely have to learn and get used to, because just because you're tired does not mean you can come off. Like, how many times I've been dead tired, bro? Seriously, like, how many times I've been dead tired on the pitch, running back and forth, defending for 2 minutes, but I just can't get off. Like, there's no moment for me to get off.
I told Mike, I was like, I have one up and down. One up and down usually, I swear. Looking back, like, tone I need. But, no, I mean, like, yeah, like I was saying earlier, like, you got to be able to. It's a different game. You know, it's a different game, and there's a lot of different aspects into it. But it's a great game. You guys have a great game.
I want to ask this. I mean, him saying it, everything he just said. Do you guys, when you're recruiting your players, do you take into account their background in indoor at all?
Honestly, not really, because it's not. You don't get a lot of players that have like an extensive indoor background. I think it's guys like Gabriel here, like just wanting to work and learn. And you know, like you had an all-league season last year, so everyone can get you can happen. You just gotta. It just takes time, and there's really not. If you find a player that has the indoor experience, obviously yes, like that's great. It's a great starting point. But if you're a good outdoor player and you have a good enough mindset, I think you can learn it, and it just, And I think what you brought up, Antonio, bringing him in has just made like an incredible difference. Like, I still don't even know indoor soccer that well, right? I don't think I could coach it like that. So he's so knowledgeable, our head coach. He's really the one, I think, that's getting everyone, getting everyone on the same page too. So really, I think, from a player standpoint, if it's there, great. But I don't think it's not a precursor, because it's not as common anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just more just like how quickly can you truly learn.
Yeah.
And the reps, like, bro, we add players every year, and bro, there are so many good players I've seen that I've played against, that have come to indoor, and bro, their first training session, people are like, who is this? It's like, he's just lost, and everyone, like, bro, if I'm telling you, if you hop on that pitch, you're going to be lost. Like, you will be lost your first couple weeks. You're like, wait, after man mark? Like, yes, like, stay with that man. Do not let him go. You're the only one. If you lose him, like, everyone's going to be shuffling, and then, everyone's lost. So it's like, oh, I have to man mark. Like, oh, the ball is not going out. Like, oh, I can't just run off whenever because now there's a whole gap here and there's a player there and he might go score. Like, there's just so many nuances and different things that a lot of good players I've seen through the Cleveland area have traveled, have come to training sessions and just been lost, and it really is a learning curve, and it's just kind of how quickly can you get over that learning curve, because once you have it, like, it's set, but it takes a little bit of time.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, from an outsider's perspective, you guys have had, just from an owner's perspective, you guys have brought in great managers. You guys won in 2021, 2024. And, just from a player's perspective, in high school, I played against Antonio Manfoot, the coach. And he's always been a great footballer. He was a great player. He had indoor experience, great footballing mind. So I think, just from an administrative perspective, you guys do a great job of bringing in the right people that fit the design of, trying to win and try to build something here as well.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, this would be my last question. As someone with your background, you're an owner now, you still coach. Between those two, as guys that watch the game, if we're not blaming ownership, we're blaming the coach.
Blaming the
Who
players.
has the most difficult job, the owner or the coach?
I'd say it's situational,
Okay.
If coaching in the finals was not something that I would want to do, right? Like, I mean, obviously I would want to, right? It's what the goal is, but, like, it's a challenging aspect of things, or a challenging thing to have to overcome. Business ownership, it's just it's very challenging in itself every day. So overall, I mean, what's been more challenging is definitely starting and owning a business, yes, from my perspective. But coaching definitely can present its challenges, and I think fans will go after the coach first, and then obviously with bigger clubs and stuff with a lot more money involved, ownership groups too. But Antonio has a lot of pressure to make the right decisions, and I think and we have a lot of pressure to make the right decisions as an organization, and one of which would be hiring managers and making sure that the team they're going to put the team in a place to be successful. So yeah, challenges for both. For me personally, building a business has been tougher, but I find coaching to be a lot more fun.
I appreciate the honesty, because you're the right guy to ask that question. You've seen both sides, so that's why I asked.
In Chelsea's case, it's always the manager. I digress. You guys have anything in closing before we get out?
For sure. Just like I said, man, when we first started, this is something that since we started as a pod, we've been wanting to do for quite some time. So I want to say thank you once again for kicking back with us for a bit. Just kind of just letting us know who you are as a person, as an individual, as an owner, as a coach, and we've been doing this for 5 years, and looking forward to our growth and hopefully continued success for sure. I think this thing's only going to get bigger and bigger and better, especially with you and your family. I can't speak highly enough about your family, man. Especially your mom. I love your mom. So yeah, I really, really appreciate you, man, and thank you again.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again, Luciano. This has been a great opportunity. Great conversation. A lot of gems from this. So thank you for taking the time to speak with us, man. And appreciate everybody's continued support. Oh, there you go.
Shout out Spark Studios.
Shout out to Spark Studios. My guys.
Shout out David and Scotty on ones and twos back there. We definitely appreciate you guys. 100%.
Appreciate you.